reaching Cole. Just let him know.
Okay.
He did reach out to me this whole tag.
Oh, okay. Oh, we tried to.
Yeah, he tried reaching back.
Good evening. Would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, good evening, everyone, either in public or watching us at home. We have a special board meeting today for the purpose of a public hearing on various tax exemptions. We called this meeting because these were time sensitive, because the board has to adopt these exemptions if they want to by March 2nd rather, and we don't hold another meeting until then. So we did call this special meeting. It was duly noticed, and we're going to begin with a public hearing, which was also duly noticed. And to open the public hearing, I'll turn it over to Mr. Michael Conway, as Superintendent for Business. Mr. Conway?
Good evening. Thank you. Don't have the slides are not up there yet.
There it is.
There it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, try that again. Thank you. All right, so just to run through some newly adopted items for the board to consider tonight. So the town has recently adopted change regarding various property tax exemptions. At this point, like Mr. Ciapetta said, the school law does require districts to hold a public hearing to discuss these changes. Oh, there we go. The ones for consideration tonight are a tax exemption for surviving spouse of police officers killed in the line of duty, the surviving spouse of a volunteer firefighter or ambulance workers killed in the line of duty, and then that for qualified senior citizens. After tonight's hearing, once the board has this information, they'll have their discussion as far as whether or not they'd like to go ahead with these exemptions. This one here for the surviving spouse of police officers killed in the line of duty. The board has the discretion to choose an exemption up to 50% of one's value. Should that happen, the taxpayer would have to communicate that request with the town of Huntington to go ahead and get that exemption. Similarly, with the volunteer firefighter and ambulance workers killed in the line of duty, same thing here. The board will have the discretion to choose an exemption up to 50% of the value. And again, that would have to be discussed between the taxpayer and the town of Huntington to actually get those exemptions. Regarding the senior citizens, currently right now they have basically expanded the ranges. You'll see on the following slide here. They just reduced the income threshold and increased the percentage of exemptions to offer a greater level of flexibility and benefit to those taxpayers falling within this category. You'll see on this next slide here, they've lowered it, adding a few additional tiers of tax benefits. So if your income for the household is less than $47,000, you could now claim up to 65% exemption. And then on the higher end of that, it's around $58,400, where you can get a 5% exemption. And then obviously you'll see the chart outlines a couple different categories with income limits, below and above, with the according or respective percentage.
There's such a narrow band. I don't know why they need so many of them. Just for the board's edification, there was supposed to be one additional exemption, and that was for the permanently disabled veteran. But in between, very recently, the governor signed into law the bill that was being proposed, so it mandates that exemption. So it takes it out of the hands of the local school board. So that one we don't have to do anymore. So that one is mandated. That's 100% exemption for those who are permanently disabled as a result of their combat service. Thank you, Mr. Conley.
Okay. So you ask yourself, who does this impact? As far as South Huntington School District, there's zero financial impact to the district since the levy, which the voters approve each May, we will still collect that. Based on the below categories, these three we just spoke about, the surviving spouses of the police officers, volunteer firefighters, and volunteer ambulance workers killed in the line of duty, as well as seniors. What this essentially does, should those categories of people get an exemption approved by the town, it essentially just shifts the burden from one household to another, of whom is not claiming such a deduction or an exemption. Some general information with these in general, just to highlight the difference between school districts, what we can and cannot control. School districts do not establish a particular homeowner's assessed value. We do not establish tax rates. We do not identify what exemptions should or should not be available to homeowners, and we don't approve or disapprove individual homeowners' requests for these exemptions. What the board does have control over is providing the authority for the town to identify at what level an exemption can be offered to an individual homeowner, such as that chart we just saw a minute ago for the seniors. And the school district board also could typically adopt the same income levels as the town and county, just to try to be as consistent as possible, and also to maximize the benefit provided to those that have low income levels, if they are seniors. And for additional information, of course, this presentation, like all of them, will remain on our website. We have some links to the town information there as well as the assessor, Ms. Lisa Leonic, and her phone number. So with that, I will turn it over to the board for their public discussion on these categories.
Thank you, Mr. Conway. Very thorough presentation. Does the board have any questions for Mr. Conway? It is a public hearing, so I'll open it to the public. There are none, so we can close the public hearing with no comments. And normally, as I said, we don't usually adopt the same day as the public hearing, but we don't really have any time otherwise, so we would have to adopt today for this to count for this year. Questions from the board before we move on to the business agenda? Thoughts? Okay. All right, take a motion to adopt the agenda. Mr. Joyner, seconded by Ms. Clark. Any questions on the agenda? All in favor? Any opposed? All right, we'll go right into the new business. The first item of new business is the tax exemption for the surviving spouse of police officers. Motion. Mr. Bronson, seconded by Mr. Joyner. Any questions on this exemption? As Mr. Conway discussed. All in favor? Any opposed? All right. Thank you. Moving on to item number 2 of new business, approval of the tax exemption. This is for both the surviving spouse of the volunteer firefighter and volunteer ambulance worker. Is there a motion? Ms. LaCara, seconded by Ms. Clark. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? All right, and lastly, we will move on to tax exemptions for senior citizens. Is there a motion to discuss? Ms. Clark, seconded by Ms. LaCara. Any questions on item number 3? All in favor? Any opposed? All right. Our new business is complete for today. Comments by board members? Okay. Superintendent?
Just happy we're all back in school.
And I want to give a thanks to everyone who was involved in what was a Herculean snow removal effort. I mean, this was a tremendous amount of work, and I think you would test that our workers were amazing.
They were driving around the district yesterday morning, going to all the buildings. They were in great shape. They were basically doing like touch-up work from that point forward, and that just shows you the time and away from their families to make sure our students can come to a safe, warm learning environment. We should never take that for granted. As you said, it's Herculean. These mountains out there are something we haven't seen in ages. So hopefully Mother Nature will just be good to us moving forward. I don't need to hear how the perfect storms are all coming together. But it's good to be back, and we had a great first day back, and hopefully no more snow days. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Joyner.
Yeah, my question is, Did we have to hire any additional people to actually perform the snow removal, or was it everything was done in-house, including equipment and stuff?
Well, the majority is done in-house, but we do rent a payloader from Bruno and Sons. I think they're a local business that they help us with every snowstorm because they have the heavy equipment, as we call it, to help us out to make sure we're on time. But the majority, Mr. Joyner, is done in-house.
Yeah, I noticed some heavy equipment rooms, so I was like, oh, I didn't know we had that. So, good.
Great. Anyone else? Okay. And Ms. Caliendo, you'll transmit the information to the assessor? Okay, great, thank you. Comments by the residents? None? Okay. We'll take a motion to adjourn. Motion, Mr. Joyner, seconded by Mr. Bronson. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, we are concluded our business for this evening. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. Appreciate it. Pretty close. Pretty good. All right.